My name is Carlos Dominguez, and I am one of the guides working here over Glacier Perito Moreno. I spent the last 20 years working here. Every glacier is beautiful, but this is very spectacular because of the dimension, the colors, but also is the easy access.
One of the natural wonders of South America, the glacier Perito Moreno in the heart of the Patagonian icefield. This glacier is an icon of Argentina, famed for the ice falls known as carving. Visitors make the long journey to the remote southern tip of the continent from across the world. It can be seen from walkways nearby and by boat. But for a truly unique experience, there is the trek up onto the glacier. As we begin to take in the magnitude of what we're about to see, Carlos Dominguez brings up an issue that has become the most important talking point about Perito Moreno.
Exactly here, the glacier was covering this rock roughly 2.5 years ago. And if we stare to the east, the glacier was pushing the debris over there 5 years ago, or a little less. So the recessive trend of the glacier in this lateral margin, southern margin, is in the order of 100 meters per year, more or less. We noticed the change started like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the glacier edge was there, and little by little started to recede by general meltdown of the glacier surface.
Some groups of tourists climb onto the glacier at the nearest point, but we continue our hike further along the side of the glacier to be able to climb up higher and get a clearer idea of the sheer scale of Perito Moreno.
No se cancela por nada. A veces el día arranca lindo, después se pone malo. Bueno, fíjate si no te queda incómodo, los pies separados para que no se enganchen.
A ver,
¿Sí?
ahí va, gracias.
De nada.
This glacier stretches some 30 kilometers up into the mountains and measures roughly 5 kilometers across. Its total area is larger than the city of Buenos Aires, or the size of 4 Manhattan islands.
Hemos encontrado formaciones como estas de unos 30, 40 metros. Generalmente son caídas de agua en el hielo, pero también se forman al revés.
We find crevices and lakes tinted with deep ice blue.
Well, it is basically because of the refraction of the light passing through the ice. It's not the total spectrum. Only blue is able to travel deep in and come back by refraction because of the wavelength is shorter. Yes?
We continue to climb and take in its majestic immensity. This glacier, Perito Moreno, is one of the largest glaciers in South America. Every year, thousands of tourists visit. For many years it was considered stable, but that has changed. With over 2 decades experience, our guide Carlos Dominguez is alarmed by what he now sees.
Since the last 5 years, we notice a recessive trend in both lateral margins. The northern margin a little more than the southern margin, but at least each one has receded at a rate of a bit more than 100 meters per year. But the very, very center of the glacier, it is the place where the change has been more dramatic. We ended the last season by the end of May, and when we came back to start this season by mid-July, the front over there, that is near the balconies area, has receded at least 150 meters.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, never before.
In just 2 months this year, the guides here saw part of the glacier retreat the length of more than 1.5 football fields.
y es uno de los temas de conversación diario. ¿Qué va a pasar con los glaciares de acá a 10, 20, 30 años cuando el cambio climático continúe avanzando?
Lucas Ruiz grew up in Patagonia. He is one of the glaciologists who has studied the region's glaciers for many years now.
Nosotros hablamos siempre de que los glaciares son como ríos congelados, porque realmente es el agua en formato sólido que está fluyendo lentamente desde la parte alta donde se formó hacia las partes bajas, donde ya en esos lugares el hielo no puede persistir, o sobre todo la nieve del invierno no puede persistir y se derrite, y también se derrite parte del hielo. Y ahí es donde se genera, podríamos decir, los ríos que nacen de los glaciares.
The glacier is named after Perito Moreno, the explorer who discovered it. There are 49 glaciers in the Patagonian ice field, over 17,000 glaciers across Argentina.
El glaciar Perito Moreno es único por muchos motivos. Por un lado hay que destacarlo, es patrimonio de la humanidad de UNESCO, pero también para Argentina la palabra glaciar está asociada al Perito Moreno.
Many tourists come hoping to witness one of the dramatic ice falls.
I was waiting to see it because we walked before for a couple hours and we didn't see anything like that. So I'm glad that we decided to walk again and I was able to see it because it was spectacular.
Sonho, né? Nunca imaginava ver isso tudo aqui. Para mim é encanto.
Son maravillas naturales. Lo único que el recalentamiento global lo está achicando, porque antes era más grande que lo que es hoy.
É muito lindo e é muito triste ao mesmo tempo quando a gente para ver fotos e comparar antigamente o tamanho que era o glaciar e só de pensar que isso aqui tudo já foi e hoje em dia não é mais, e cada vez ele está diminuindo e só virando água. Então a gente sai com um sentimento de gratidão de poder apreciar e ao mesmo tempo de tristeza.
I didn't know about that before I read all the signs here that it used to be a lot closer and that climate change was changing that, but yeah, definitely I think that the whole world should do something to address climate change because the earth is beautiful and we should keep it this way.
What is happening to Perito Moreno in the south of Argentina is happening to glaciers around the world.
A nivel global podemos decir que nuestras grandes reservas de agua en estado sólido están principalmente en la Antártida, después en Groenlandia y después divididas en las grandes cordilleras del mundo. Y hoy en día, gracias al conocimiento científico que tenemos, sabemos que en todas las regiones donde hay glaciares, los glaciares están perdiendo masa.
The Patagonian ice field straddles the Andes Mountains between Chile and Argentina, forming the world's third largest mass of ice after Antarctica and Greenland. As the world's freshwater reserves, the melting of the world's glaciers and ice fields form part of the discussions at COP30. The United Nations named 2025 the year of glaciers preservation.
2024 has been one of the worst years in 50 years in terms of mass lost by glaciers. We need to discuss glaciers in that context. We need to see them as our heritage, but also our lifeline. We have many types of international years, and it is really about bringing those key burning issues, but that have a long-term impact on the agenda, on the global agenda. In the case of glaciers, we have not only the public, but also the scientific community and the whole concept of what water means for life on Earth. This idea from source to sea, from the glacier up to the sea, this is finally the same water.
In Patagonia, we visited the Glacier Museum. The building is modelled on Perito Moreno. Luciano Bernacci is one of the museum directors.
And glaciers for me are very interesting because it's the only change you see in the landscape that you can actually see during your lifetime. Everything else takes a lot longer except for like a volcano or an earthquake. But I always say that we are not trained to see geological change in our lifetime. However, what I've seen here in the last 20, 30 years or even 10 years, it's amazing. We can now go to a place where it's a huge, several mile long lake, and I have photos crossing that on the ice not so long ago.
Bernacchi is a mountain guide who is also involved in glacier research and field work. He has experience in both polar regions of the world.
So the Perito Moreno is our star glacier, the most famous one for several reasons. It's very pretty, surrounded by forests, it has a very easy access. It was considered to be stable, or what we call a near steady state, for about 100 years. Since 1917 until now, actually a few years ago, we considered it was stable. It didn't really change, outside some minimal seasonal fluctuations. Sometime in 2019, 2020, it's uncertain still, we started seeing changes, and it did not recover every winter like it did in the past, and then more, and then more, and then more, and clearly now we can safely say with evidence that it has been retreating for the last 5-6 years.
He says much more work is needed to fully comprehend what is happening to the glacier.
The World Weather Organization basically says that you can't really talk about climate or trends until you have 30 years of data. And we do have 30 years of data near the snout or the end of the Moreno. But there's very, very little on the higher area and the accumulation area, which is basically the ice field. So what we will need is a million things. Basically more weather stations, more people, more funding, a lot of things. But you know, with a few resources available, there's a lot being done.
The National Parks authorities have been using drones to collect images that help scientists.
Y al tener también tanta superficie, a veces tenemos tormentas locales. Enfrente tengo un sol hermoso y está despejado, y cuando llego a la parte de atrás, está nevando. Hay una tormenta local en esa punta y está nevando.
Drones are able to take photographs that help scientists determine not only the surface area of the glacier, but also, and crucially, the mass.
Con estas imágenes y con lo que se puede hacer con este drone, se llaman DTM, son Digital Terrain Model. Eso permite a través de imágenes hacer un modelo tridimensional del glaciar con una escala muy específica, es al centímetro, y de ahí podemos sacar la altura y el volumen de la masa, porque con imágenes satelitales y demás se puede sacar la superficie muy fácil, pero sacar puntualmente el volumen de masa es muy difícil. Estamos reconstruyendo el glaciar, se saca un modelo tridimensional y de ahí se puede sacar tanto positivo como negativo las grietas del glaciar, si hay piedras, todas las diferencias de cada valle, y sacar al centímetro la cantidad de hielo.
UNESCO hopes that promoting the year of glaciers preservation will increase public awareness and also help form government policy.
And this needs both engagement, needs policies, and needs science for those policies. The more we know about the glaciers, the better policies we can have. This is a little bit where we as UNESCO come in. We are looking to produce more and more science about the glaciers so that governments can make better informed decisions.
Yet under President Javier Milei, Argentina withdrew its delegation from last year's summit at COP29, and Milei has suggested he may take Argentina out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
El wokismo, además, se manifiesta en el siniestro ecologismo radical y la bandera del cambio climático.
Perito Moreno is located in a national park, so it is protected. But Argentina's government has suggested relaxing its law that protects glaciers, many of which are found near areas that could be of interest to mining companies. For investigators and researchers, the issue is increasingly urgent.
Pensar que el cambio climático no existe es simplemente poner el problema abajo de la alfombra, pero sobre todo es esperar que no pase nada cuando sabemos que va a pasar algo. Entonces, si no atacamos los problemas del cambio climático, si no atacamos la raíz del problema, es básicamente estamos sentados arriba de una bomba esperando que explote, nada más.
We spoke to Lucas Ruiz in Chile. He's no longer working in Argentina, close to Perito Moreno. And as part of Argentina President Milei's austerity push, wages for scientists and funding for projects has been frozen or cut.
Lamentablemente, destruir o romper algo cuesta segundos, construirlo nos puede llevar años o décadas. Argentina ha sido un país que siempre ha tenido una postura bien clara en términos de cambio climático. Toda la ciencia en general en Argentina ha sufrido un desfinanciamiento y un destrato que que va a costar años recuperarlo, no es algo sencillo de recuperar. A ese por ahí baja salarial que teníamos los científicos, ahora se le suma el de financiamiento para realmente generar nuestras actividades.
Lucas Ruiz remains in touch with colleagues and friends in Argentina, and they continue working together. Carlos Dominguez doubles up as a guide, but also as part of the team that continues to monitor the state of the glacier.
The cooperation is, since they cannot spend the whole year here, and we come here daily, we have the chance to maintain instruments in function, check out, take data, send data to Lucas and other glaciologists that are in different programs to research the glacier. The example of Lucas is interesting because it is the only team that really went to the snow accumulation area to measure with the instruments the real accumulated snow in the recent years. And the program was to do it several times because for scientific investigations you need a thick amount of data and statistics to then publish something. We went over there only twice, and then no more financial support make it impossible to continue. And that is the open question, because we know the glacier is shrinking down here, but maybe it is partially due to warming down here, but maybe also reduced accumulation of the snow in the upper part, but we cannot establish this since we don't have the necessary data.